Okay, everybody, welcome to War in the West. It's a military kind of a grand strategy game. It's Matrix Games that makes it Matrix Games Slytherin. They're one of the best in the business for making military simulation games. I'm going to be playing this. It's going to be an AAR with my buddy Ara. We play a lot. We've played for years and years now, and he's a really good guy to play against. And this is going to be turn one. Let's see, loading in. Oh, they've done a lot. I beta and alpha tested this game, and this has come a long way. I'm gonna leave these to default because it's been so long I haven't played this. For ground attack south, I'm gonna pick prediction. Ground attack types airfield. I want the air attack types to be unit, railway, and interdiction. Like interdiction will be big, and rail yards attack the rail yard points. Railway, I think it attacks the railway. I forget. It's been a while, so I wasn't involved in like the last month of alpha. I got sick and had surgery, so I wasn't really involved. So let's see. So I'm going to set our directives. Assign new directives. Yes, they're setting up the tasks now for us. Run through it. Boom, 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 boom. Perfect. Let's go ahead. Put this up here, and if I recall, there's a summary of what happened. RF command did this, that, and the other. And here you can actually see, this is the cool part. Like, watch this, the metric stats. Like, you can over time. Like right now, it's not very impressive, right? But over time, it's going to be pretty sexy. Like the stuff they added in was impressive, to say the least. And I've got multiple monitors, so I'm going to have to add in a thing to lock my. Actually, I think I have a thing to lock my monitor, don't I? Screen swap. Let's see. I think it's locking window is Control-Shift-T. Let's see if that works. Control-Shift-T. Oh, perfect. Fantastic. Okay. So I forget this is. So here's the area of operations compared to compared to the. You see the whole map is there, right? Like, so you see this is going to be the future of war in Europe, which is their next thing, or war in I think it's war in Europe, but I mean whatever it's called. But you can see the whole map is here, right? So, but this little box is where we're playing in. So the whole map is done. So when they do that, like, you can see like how big it is already. And the cool thing about splitting this in half here is it kind of abstracts out UK, the shipping to UK and the Med. Like you have to go through these areas, and that's something new they added. So I'm new to it. They've done a really great job on the map. From how it was during alpha. I mean, Matrix is just they continue to impress. So there's areas over here for the Germans, like they can put units over here to get shipped off to the Eastern Front. So they have total control over what goes and what stays on the Eastern Front. But like if they don't put enough on the Eastern Front, the Germans advance faster and the war ends sooner. If they put too much, that makes it easier for me. But I think you're gonna find here, like as I've done my betaing here. The Southern Theater is really hard. Like, I got hung up for quite a long time, historically, right around. What's the key to go to units? Is it U? It's T. Is it T? It's T. So I got hung up for quite a long time, like, before I even took Rome. And then just marching up here is it's just a slaughter fest. You get a little bit of relief after you get up here. You get to here, but it's a mess. Like, this, Germans will hold this, and then this is easy to hold, and they just. You'll see, it's a bear. And one of the other things I always did was I always did the Operation Anvil here by Marseille and pushed in as you do the Normandy landing, because you start in 1943, which gives you time to change the course of history. You get a whole year ahead of D-Day. You build up your things. It's a lot of fun. So let's start out, if I remember how to do this, because it's been a while. Let's see. If I recall, first thing I'm going to do is set. I got to change my scroll speed because that is way too fast. 31st thing. Show preferences, scroll speed, 6 to 3. Okay, that's a little bit better. Awesome. So first thing I like to do, if I can recall how to do it, first thing I like to do, let's go ahead and save. I like to make a quick save.
Hey guys, I'm going to bed. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye, Mark.
Night, Baxter. I was just listening.
Good nighty night.
Nighty night.
User left your channel. Muted.
Let me pop out. Okay. Well, sorry about that, guys. So I like making quick saves as I'm playing. Save the game, quick save, 1. Just, I always make quick save in case weird shit happens. Sometimes weird bugs happen, you don't have a quick save, you lose all your work. These turns, once they get, this isn't going to be as much as War in the East, which was like an hour and 2 hours turns. This is a little bit faster, it's a smaller map. But still, you put a lot of effort into it, you don't want to see it get pissed on. Let's see if I can remember how big this. So you see these guys already have targets, right? So up here is, you know, the 82nd Airborne, the three regiments, and here's its target. Like these can set targets and they generate experience over time. But this unit already has a target. Let's see if it actually shows in the map already. It's been a while since I've played this, so I think it's 149.293. 149.293 is actually right here. Okay, so we say, oh, and I'm also not in the right mode. Ground support mode, ground attack mode, bombing, air recon mode, air superiority mode, naval patrol mode, air transfer mode. And it's weird. You'll see over time how this is different than others. It's got kind of a phasing thing. So we put the moves in and it phases later. So, you know, for the Germans, it's kind of an interesting way to play. Let's see. Where's the touch execution? So here's the summary of what happened again. Boom, boom, boom. Here's where we can change the air execution detail. Oh, which happens later. That's right. Air doctrine, air transfer. I think it's air transfer mode. Let's see. Nope, that's something else. Air superiority, naval air doctrine. Oh, I'm in the air planning ground support mode. That's why I'm not saying anything. Derpa derpa doo. I'm just gonna let this turn. I'm just gonna let the AI do it for me. I've already done it. I set a directive. I had to hit execute. See, all that time I forgot that important step. And then let's see, ground execution mode. Where is it here? Battle sites. It's been on. Things are a little different. Let me see. My bad here, guys. I'm unprepared. Show airborne planning. Oh, this is nice too. Airborne planning phase. This has drop X in Italy. This has drop X in Italy. You eventually I'll land the other ones. Eventually, what I like to do is land them here. Eventually, kind of like to put one here to cut off the Italian mainland. These guys leaving in the mountains, so they survive a little bit better. They've done a really good job of fixing some of my issues with War in the West, which were like supply is such a mess. You encircle the unit, and since the turns are weak, like the next turn, the units basically become little babies and they can't fight. That just used to make me super aggravated. I'm trying so hard not to curse. Sorry. Where is the end turn? Is it Shift A? It just looks. How do you end the turn? I forget. This button does it. Jeez. You take a month or two off and it's pandemonium. You forget everything. Illustration, show a hot list, show game save, show game options. Options. Where the hell is I am a big bobblehead because I cannot remember how to do this. Summary, go to application, setting directives, setting the tasks. I think I messed up by leaving what I did. Clicking on that little icon, I think I messed it up, or I broke the flow somehow. Setting their tasks. Now we go to execute. There you go, execute your directive. That's all I should have done to begin with. Now it's doing the attrition here. Message always told me to turn it down, let it go faster. Actually, 2 looks like it is faster, so I'm going to set the 1. It's doing all the bombing, volume on this key. We don't want it to blow your guys' ears out. see who those sorties and who's like this one. Where the planes are coming from, where they're going to. It's pretty sexy. I haven't even seen this in a month or two, so this polish is pretty fantastic compared to what it was in the alpha and beta. Kudos Slivery, kudos Matrix games. You guys are awesome. I just think back about when I first started playing Matrix games and when I was a kid, like the same 90s. I remember playing Steel Panthers, when Matrix re-released it. Some of the first movies. That was my first exposure was Steel Panthers being re-released and War of Generals, or whatever it's called, Steel Panther General Edition, or whatever, where you play some of the Ramos campaigns. Like, those were, utmost respect for these guys in this community, and I've given them thousands of dollars of my money gladly, and it's such an honor to work with such a great company. Turn the messages off real quick just to zoom through this stuff pretty quick. It gets repetitive after a while. Like, there's people that like to sit and watch each one of these bombing runs. I'm not one of those people. I like it to get over with quick so you can get back into the gameplay, And just if you guys are wanting this little icon here, it just lets me know that I'm recording. And as you see, the units that are like the green here, like green means it's good port, good railroad. Red means a good port. I think it's port manpower railroad. And if it's green, it's good. If it's yellow, it's mildly damaged. If it's red, it's exhausted. Like this airfield here, the red airfields are doing a lot of sorties. You can only do a certain number of sorties in a day. Like you say, all of Britain is like just a airfield mess. Make a note to cut out all the airfield stuff. Read after that. Oh, and these bombings are for all 7 days. So right now we're in day 2 of 7. Okay, we're back. I killed the program because I think I didn't set something up right. I don't want it at that level of granularity. It was taking way too long. So I need to go in and tweak my settings to. It shouldn't take that long to go through. Let's see. Close this right now. Look at administration preferences. Options. Message delay. 0.5. Message delay. Comment early. 0. Comment message delay. I want it to be 0.5 seconds. Flows 5 seconds. Early execution. Detail. Load detail. Okay, let's try this again. Executes, order goes, yes. 6 kisses goes any faster. I'm hoping it will. They're 4%, 6%. Oh, that's much faster. Let's see if I did something wrong. Or if I had it too high before. 7%. Because it was taking way too long before. As you saw before, it was showing that it was drawing each line out. And I think I had it a little bit too much sequence. We're at 9% already. That's good. Careful. About 10%. Oh, see, you see that hit made the icon's colors change to yellow. That was signifying that there's something that hit. Now up to 21%, where we got stalled out before. It's already going. %, should be done soon. So it's end return calculations, and then it'll show me a report. Gosh, I can't believe it's been so long I forgot how to do that. Jeez. I'm like a little bird that I am. Okay, here's the report. 23,000 sorties. We lost 467 aircraft. About 1,000 were damaged. We shot down 192 enemy aircraft and we damaged 400. So, I mean, 2 to 1 damage, 2 to 1 aircraft lost. I mean, but we're in a war of attrition here, so we can afford 400 planes lost and they can't. So now we're on the we're on the regular turn now. So awesome. So now, if I recall correctly, now we're on the move turn. So let's see. This unit has a target, I think. And we go to air transport mode. And as you see, it shows all the amphibious things that were already picked. Air interdiction, west control. Here's the landing zones. One here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. And then this is an air landing, and that's an air landing. So him right here, I think, if I recall, do this. We drop him. Or no, what do we do? We click on the unit, and I think, do we right click here? I don't know, let's go crazy. I figured it's kind of in traditional Matrix style. It's not the most intuitive thing in the whole world, that you've ever seen in your life. It's kind of not intuitive. What is it? Is it shift? Is it shift right click? Gosh darn it, I forget. Let's see. Gosh darn it, I like people. Dang nabbit. See, I always forget how these damn things work. Believe me, it was. Well, this will be a perfect time to go to the book. Does this drop not work? Or hold on. Select the unit. Click the hex. Select the unit. Select the unit. Shift click the hex. Right click. That doesn't work. Right click the unit. Gosh darn. Okay. Well, it's time to go to the index. The book and read. Because I remember this being this was so complicated during beta that we had not complicated, so not intuitive during alpha that we had a post from not Gary but Joel on how to do it, because it's just, you know, the first couple times you do it, it's different. You know? Air transport node 62. In traditional strategy book style, we read the book a lot. In strategy wargame style, we read the book a lot. Oh, am I doing the wrong one? Is it air transfer? Air transport. Yeah, air transport. Amphibious transport mode F4. That's for them. Naval transport. It should be. Air transport. Air transport can be used for the three types of air missions: airdrop of freight, air transport of non-motorized units to German faces and to friendly air bases, and airdrop of combat units. The air transport mode in hockey is a toggle between air transport and air transport freight. Let me try. Freight unit. Freight unit. Okay, so we're on unit. Yes. Okay, so each time another mode is selected, you have to come back. Players are cautioned to make sure they're in the desired air transport mode prior to attempting to conduct a mission. Freight. When it's first selected, the unit mode will be enabled. When it's selected again, freight mode will be enabled, and then back to unit mode. Air units must have 0 miles flown and not already been assigned to drop an air unit in the amphibious phase in order to transport air trap unit. Air units can fly a air transport freight mission even if they've flown on the turn already. For air transport of non-units, blah 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 blah. I don't want freight. I want air transports of. I want the regular one. Okay, about freight. I keep it coming. Air combat, airdrop combat. Jesus Mary. 5453 airdrop airborne combat units. Left click to select an airborne unit on airbase while in any mode, but air transfer. That's what it was. Okay. See, it's not the most intuitive. Okay. Well, in any mode but air transfer, select target button in the box, right click on desired target. In a turn later, sufficient preparatory points have accumulated, select the air unit, and then select air transport mode. And I think it was F9 was the issue, like it behaves weirdly. Okay, air selected. Select drop point in unit bar to manually select air route contact. Select drop button in unit bar to manually select air units to conduct airborne drop combat missions. Airborne target hexes can only be set in the movement phase, not the airplane phase. So now I drop. Not a valid target. I'm already prepped. Let's see. Airdrops are several types of airborne can be conducted. Normal airdrops are executed during the player's movement phase. Airborne drops in support of an amphibious invasion are executed just after the enemy's logistics phase. Prior to the execution, the combat unit must begin the process in the stack text with a friendly airbase. Air divisions can be dropped as one unit or broken down into regiments and brigades. While any unit in any mode but air transfer, select the command unit to be transported for airdrop. In order to drop an air unit, it must first plot a target hex for a potential airborne drop. Every airborne unit has a target box on its right side of its unit, which is this thing here. Target, that there. And this is the target, and then P50 means preparation points 50. The button will display the hex, blah blah blah. If the target is changed, 1/2 the prep points are lost. When amphibious points. Points accrue in each friendly logistic phase. That's friendly, blah 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 blah. Airborne units may not order an airdrop unless they have at least 50 prep points, which we have. No drop button will be visible. Once sufficient prep points have been accumulated, when in the air transport mode, a drop button will appear on the right unit bar. To drop the unit, left click on the button and then assign. To drop the unit, left click on the button and then assign air group units to transport and escort. Okay, so not a valid airborne target hex. Okay, maybe it's this unit. Let's try the other unit. You know, maybe. Let's try. Not a valid airborne hex. Let's try again. The frustrations I get playing this game sometimes. He's prepped to 50. drop the unit, left click on the button, and then assign air groups to transport and escort, which I did. Which I freaking did. How is it moved through the hex again? I forget. There's a way to show air units and toggle between air units and not air units. What is it? Toggle logistical info, which is fine. Oh, logistics info is awesome. Like this shows you your base, like a level 4 base, and he's got tons of supply. You see, it's like a level 4. I can't move my mouse, but it sucks. So it's like a level 4 base with it's received. The green is received. Let me do it. I think the black. I'll look at it later, but I think the black is capacity and red is sent and something's received. So that's all good. There's a way to view the air units in the. Oh, here it is. Click up here, I think. Okay, so that shows the airbase units here. Assigned. They haven't traveled anywhere at all. So WTF. Let me read this again. Sometimes reading is fundamental. Air units may not have an airbase unless they 50 air prep points. Once sufficient prep points have been accumulated when in the air transport mode, a drop button will appear on the right bar from the airborne unit, which is here. To drop the unit, left-click on the button, and then assign air groups to transport and escort the air combat units to the target hex. The Pick Air Units for Mission window will display. Select or deselect air units. Note that the number of max sorties must at least equal the number of required sorties for the air unit picking up the mission. Airdrops require a maximum of 1 sortie. The computer does not account for possible combat and operational launches when figuring out the number of sorties. The airdrop of airborne units has to be in the first and only mission conducted by an air transport group in the turn. Once a transport air group has used miles for any other purpose, it will be unavailable for airdrop. Airborne landings that are within 8 hexes of a supplied friendly unit take place immediately upon selecting the drop button. Airborne landings, airborne units that are within 8 hexes of a supplied friendly hex, traced over lane hexes, take place immediately following. Fix this thing. Oh, so frustrating. Oh, it'll give me a chance to go read the forums real quick and see WTF mate. WTF mate. Okay. Let me go back to the forums and see if I'm reading something wrong. Because there's a very good chance that I'm reading something wrong. Because I read stuff wrong. Do it all the time. Airdrop. Let's look in the forums for airdrops. We'll find many, I'm sure. Airborne drops not allowed. Oh, that's unbelievable. Oh, that's one of the last developments. we're going to be doing some fancy editing. Fancy editing with this. Because this doesn't appear to be. Let's see. Maybe I need to have it be in support of first. Okay. Before we do the airdrop, let's try to do the amphibious invasion. That's 4. The HQ's got to set up here. He's set to go here. So we're going to move the amphibious HQ's going to move here. That's where he's going to take off from. He's already set to invade here. These guys are going to be with him. They're already prepped at 56 for the same hex. So we're going to say invade. Launch amphibious invasion. Yes. Those guys move there. And now they're on ships. And they're going to invade. And I think, gosh, I think if I recall correctly. Oh, they're going to invade next turn. They're on the ships. They're going to invade here. Okay. That's right. Amphibious invasion there. Sorry for the mental deficiencies. It really hasn't been a while, so I apologize. These guys are going to invade here up in the north. Let's invade. Yes. Attrition 3. The Free French Moroccan forces are going to also invade. Oh no, they're not. These guys are not invading. They're follow-ons. And these amphibious HQs, they represent ships. These are the units under them, the naval support groups, what they have. We've also got these elements, troop ships, cargo ships. The naval support group is naval guns, like it represents having guns to shoot people in the face with. This guy's going to invade in the south. Yes. Attrition 3. And then last but not least, we have the Americans, the 3rd Infantry, 3rd ID. Well, not last but not least, there's still one more. There's still 2 more, actually. 3rd ID had some attrition there. Should be second I Corps, 1st US ID. Slot I Corps there. And then this one and the 45th US ID invade. Attrition. So we've got all these units lined up here. And then what you want to do is get work on getting the rest of these units. There's going to be things aren't going to happen. This is going to be naval transport. So you're going to go and you're going to press these guys out here because they're not going to be naval amphibious. They're going to be transport. They're going to land after the invasion, so they're going to have it a little bit easier. Provisional Corps, 2nd US Army. I like getting the tanks up there pretty quick. So you hit F3 and you go into this naval transport mode, and you also see you have shipping, transport, cargo 1940, 1917, and troops 152. Like that's your shipping you have, and then you go to naval, and I forget if you use different ships or not, but this tells you you don't have unlimited resources to land everywhere. So you kind of have to. Oh, and I had 2 units sunk by planes, so that results in some attrition right there from some Italian fighters. Stinky bones. So we lost some fighters there. Let's if I scroll some. Okay, 1st US Army Division. Size 6 port, not a big port. And you see like that the tanks got stuck out there because they didn't have enough this transport sunk, and there's its movement now it's being taken out. And it's kind of this is really, to be honest, it's an overwhelming force to begin with. I mean, the Italians don't have much much that can compete with this. I mean, this is impressive to say the least. Size 3 ports. Are we out of oh, because this, I think we've already used a lot of insufficient. There's a reason why we can't use it. Freights. There's a reason why. I forget. Okay, so let's see. Let's do another quick save. Quick save 2. Make sure you don't proof anything up. And then we'll go ahead and see if we can use here Linux. There, okay, so the invasions had to go first. Okay, as a dumbbell. Sorties required, max sorties, load count, capacity. See, like you can't, it has to be, max sorties has to be 1. Like sorties required can't be 2, it has to be 1. And you can't have more than 1. So I like this on 3 just to make sure I account for attrition. Launch the mission. And it'll show up next turn. But you'll see that the unit is assigned to drop. So here, we go and we do the drop here. Boop. Same thing. Transports. Overkill. I like overkill. Same there. I think I got everything. I mean, there's a lot more nuance to it, but I haven't played in a long time, so that's kind of the end of it for me. Let's end the turn. It's going to go process, and then we'll send it back to Aura. And I'll get a text, say, hey, your turn is done. And I'll be super duper happy, and I'll go, yippee skippy dippy. Right now, the German processing takes a while, like 56%. Logistics is getting going there. This is the the intensive, part of the game. Now let me go back to the appendix and read while we're recording. Hopefully this mic is like that would make me sad. Strategy and tactics. Axis strategy. I'll read these to you just so you can handle something. Axis strategy. The German army may be past its glory days in 1943, but it remains formidable. The Germans have a number of well-equipped Panzer and Panzer Grenadier divisions in the West, more than capable of holding their own against the Allies if left untroubled by Allied air power. Tactically, the Luftwaffe will be of little help to the Axis frontline soldiers, and Axis bomber strength should be conserved for critical situations. Stated simply, all Axis ground tactics in the war in the West are colored by the massive and seemingly ever-present Allied air superiority. Allied air interdiction is particularly devastating to German movement and unit defense effectiveness. Regularly check interdiction levels and avoid movement through high interdiction, level 7-8 hexes, which can cause significant troop disruption and casualties. Whatever strategies the Axis player chooses, minimizing the effects of Allied air power should always be a consideration. The Axis player should rigorously monitor garrison requirements every turn to keep from losing victory points. Most units change their TOA, which means table of equipment, at least once during the game, and a region that had an adequate garrison one turn may find itself under garrison the next. Similarly, the opposite may occur, and you may find you can now pull a unit out of a garrison zone. Finally, garrison requirements themselves can change. The supply situation is considerably more nuanced in War in the West than it was in War in the East, and no Axis player can prevail without active logistics management. Divisions can starve and air units not fly due to fuel shortages, even though the resource pool indicates vast quantities. consult the commander's report and use the logistics information overlay, shortcut N, to frequently check supply levels and distribution. If possible, try to build depots within 3 hexes of major troop and airbase concentrations, but certainly no more than 10 hexes away. Remember to disband depots as early as possible before retreating, as the loss of supplies and, more importantly, the depot's trucks is detrimental to the resource-starved Germany. Italy. Italy is the defender's dream. It is narrow, so it requires relatively few units to defend. It has lots of ideal defensive terrain and possesses numerous rivers parallel to the front. Unfortunately, it has lots of inviting coastline ripe for Allied invasion. The Axis player should always keep sufficient reserves to deal with this threat, especially around Rome. The Axis player should endeavor to keep the Allies as far south as possible to avoid major attacks on their main defensive line before the mud turn hits in late 1943. Sardinia and Corsica require some strategic consideration. They are large stationary Allied aircraft carriers if captured, and their loss makes an Allied invasion of southern France considerably easier. Realistically, the Axis cannot prevent their capture once Italy surrenders if the Allies are determined to take them. Corsica is easier to defend than Sardinia, and some defense could be offered on one or both islands, but beware of having sizable forces marooned, as Germany's naval capacity to evacuate troops a la Crete or Dunkirk is limited. France. The Allied player has one overriding goal in France: containing the eventual Allied invasions for as long as possible. If invasions are contained long enough, the Axis can rely on the conquering Allies' ability to significantly penetrate into Germany. If the Allies can be constrained to a narrow front, the material and manpower superiority can be negated somewhat. Another benefit of keeping the Allied invasions bottlenecked up is that they are denied air bases. Allied air dominance only occurs over parts of the map their planes can reach. Many Allied air fighters and fighter bombers have short ranges, and if denied bases in France, the Allied player can tamper Allied air superiority. Fortunately for the Axis, the excellent defensive terrain behind most invasion areas, with the notable exceptions of the Pas-de-Calais, aids in the containment of Allied invasions. Prior to any invasion, the Allied player has significant strategic choices to make in France, and these principally resolve around allocating defenders to likely invasion areas and positioning mobile reserves. Every port in northern France and Belgium should be garrisoned with at least one infantry division and a fort unit to gain a level 5 or 6 entrenchment. Holding ports significantly reduces the Allies' ability to maintain a sustained offensive operation, and ports should be denied to the Allies for as long as possible. The Axis should, as they did historically, make considerable effort to strengthen defenses in the Pas-de-Calais to discourage an Allied invasion there. The Pas-de-Calais is 200 miles closer to Germany than Normandy, and its terrain is conducive to an early Allied breakout. Holland should not be ignored as a possible invasion site. Generally, the more troops you commit to an invasion area, the less likely Allies will be to invade there. The further west you can convince the Allies to invade, the better. Mobile reserves should be strategically placed close to 2 or more invasion areas, if not a great distance to the rear, as Allied air power can significantly hamper the movement of reserves, at least until the Allied bombers resume operations over Germany. The home front. The Germans cannot stop the Allied air onslaught over the home front, but they can make it costly. For the Luftwaffe, the issue isn't aircraft numbers, but pilot quality. Try to conserve strength and maintain pilot quality, as the German player pool of trained pilots is small, and your fighter units are decimated early, and subsequent efforts to deter the Allied air armada will be feeble. Furthermore, you will have no elite units to upgrade to the German jet when available. Keep some healthy percentage of units on training missions and rotate them. Use large numbers of flak units on the map as a low-cost way to assist the Reich air defense. Don't ignore placing and utilizing the numerous flak units the Germans receive as reinforcements. Endeavor to place these units in the likely flight paths to the Ruhr and the German industrial clusters. The goal should be to keep Allied losses significant enough and the Luftwaffe healthy enough that the bombers are never flying virtually unopposed in great numbers. The Eastern Front. Do not ignore the East Front box, as focus here can turn a draw into a victory. To have something approximating a historical result, you need to keep the historic level of forces in the East Front, although enterprising players may temporarily send several divisions west during bad weather to counter Allied moves, especially in Italy in the fall of 1943. It is important to note that the armor units count far more than other units, so you do not want to strip the East Front of those high CV units. Swapping 2 Panzer divisions from France for 2 SS Panzer divisions on the East Front, though, is generally a neutral exchange. The East Front has a bulk of the German mountain divisions, so a player should maul moving some of these to mountain-rich Italy and sending other infantry units east to compensate. Consider sending any spare corps HQs east, especially if the East Front has a shortage, as shown by HQs required, as this is a quick and easy way to boost overall combat values. To keep the East Front forces from hollowing out, some portion of the units on the East Front should always be in refit mode. The Axis player can put a large number of units on refit during bad weather when the force needs drop as shown by the fluid and stable indicators. Units in the refit mode do not count towards the EF force levels, so use this appropriately. Manpower and resource management. The Germans possess enough forces to effectively counter the Allies, but only if these forces remain healthy. The Germans will lose a war of attrition every time, so be cautious about attacking needlessly or committing to do-or-die defenses of strategically worthless territory. Keep close tabs on manpower and armament reserves, and remember you share these reserves with the vast armies of the Eastern Front. If Allied bombing significantly damages the key factory or resource, you can hurry repairs on the city screen. So the next turn, I will read you the Allied strategy. But for now, let's go ahead and save this game out as War in the West, Western Allies, BW, Axis ARA, Axis T1, and then we'll send it off. And I appreciate you guys, hanging out and watching. And hopefully I'll edit this, though, so it's not complete garbage. Let me know what you guys think. And I appreciate the time, guys. Have a good day.